Thank you for joining our webinar today. We're going to talk about the future of office design with version 2017, and we're going to be reviewing some features. The slide you should be seeing up on your screen right now is our training slide. This covers the upcoming online instructor-led classes. For more information, you can go to the web address there at the bottom of the screen, our training page. This slide here shows the in-person classes that we have in Grand Rapids, and we also have a new tips and tricks in Columbia, Maryland. And with that, we're going to jump in and learn a little bit about some recent features and give you a preview of upcoming 2017 feature. So I'm going to get started here in Worksheet. And what we're going to be looking at today are some things that we added to reporting in recent releases that you may or may not know about. First thing we're going to be talking about is the color field in Worksheet. Color field is used for a lot of different things depending on your workflow. I'm going to be showing how you can use it to apply specific colors by department. So here we have this worksheet, and you see that I have a department column turned on, and I have a bunch of different departments. It's kind of a big worksheet. So this is going to be pretty representative of what the average user might be working with inside of Worksheet. There's two main ways that we can apply colors to items within a worksheet. The first one is by selection. So I'm going to select all of the accounting items here. And all of these are off of the item menu. So I can do color and then set color. And I'm going to set these to blue. You can see that all of the accounting items don't have blue as a color assigned to them. The other way that I said you could do it is by criteria. And this is a lot faster way to do it. And I'm going to go to by criteria. And I'm going to set different colors for different departments. So I'm going to set the color in the drop list here. We're going to choose yellow. Category is going to be, or the department is going to be conference. Oh, helps if I spell right. Okay, so it's conference, and I'm going to just quickly set the colors on these other ones. So I can set all of these, I would be able to set all of these by criteria. So what the colors do is they break it into visual cues. So it's very easy to pick this up if it's printed out in color and easily see where items are. Another benefit that I've been told of using color is that it's language independent. So regardless of who's looking at the items, they should be able to look at the part number and see a color and have it associated that way. So besides department, color might be used to break things down into phases, where it's phase 1, phase 2, different floors, different ways of staging. For every workflow, there's a different way that color could be used. And to remove color, I go to Item, Color, and then I clear all colors. And that wipes the colors out of all the items. So that puts it back to just the default white. That's just a summary of how you use color inside of Worksheet. The next area I'm going to be talking about is item management fields within Worksheet and how they're used in reporting. And to do that, I'm going to open up a little bit more simple worksheet here. This is a lot easier to look at. It's all on one page and don't need to scroll. So the columns that we talk about when we talk about item management are color, complete, lock, flag, and annotation. We just got done talking about color. So that's where you're studying color for any item. The complete column is, the header for that is a green check. And there's different states that you can have for items. The green check means that it is complete and everything is done to it. The paint palette means that there are some options that are skipped. Then you can apply options to it. If you see a small little W icon with a little arrow pointing to a book, that means that that line item needs to be updated against catalog. Something's been done to it where it makes it out of current state with a catalog. And the last version of the icon that you can have in this column is this question mark, and that means that it is unknown to the software right now. That means usually that either the catalog code or the part number something is wrong with it and it can't be found in the catalog. So if you ever open a worksheet, do an update against catalog, and you get a whole lot of blue circles with white question marks in them, it means that the worksheet has information in it that is no longer in the catalog. So that's a quick once over of what these things are. Now, how would we use them? The complete is just the complete column is a flag to show you what things might need to be done to your worksheet. The lock column here that we have that locks an item so that something can't accidentally be done to it. So you might want this if you have specific options on it that you don't want to accidentally overwrite, or if you've changed some field in the item that is catalog dependent. Like say I wanted to put something, append something to the end of this part number, and if I do an update against catalog, that item would be flagged that it isn't found. But if I don't even want it to be updated, if I hit this lock, this field, and I lock it, it locks it away so that something can't be done to it accidentally. You have to take a very intentional couple of steps to make the lock off. The flag column is pretty versatile. A lot of the things that you might use flag for, you could have already are done in the software by simply holding your control button down and selecting multiple things. But the beauty of flag is that if I'm going through and I'm selecting these and I accidentally let up on the control key and I pick the next one, I've now selected the one item. If you're going through in flag is a switch, so you're not going to have to worry about holding a specific button down as you're using the flag function. And then the flag function can also be used in combination with you can select all the flagged items and then you can erase them. You can select all the flagged items and update those specific items. So the flag function is pretty versatile. There's a lot of different ways that you can use it. Annotations are primarily come over from visual impression, where you would add a note to a particular item. And this item here inside of this worksheet, it has an annotation already on it. So I click on that little icon that tells me there's an annotation, and it pops up this field and it displays it to me. I can then come in here and I can add extra notes to it, and I OK it, and then it's part of that item. But the annotations can also be added within a worksheet all by itself. So if I add a note to it, then it stays inside of the worksheet. Okay. So let's see. Let me show you one of the things that lock can do. Oh, the reason that the little annotation symbol didn't appear there when I put that note in is because the item is locked. So let me put now there's an annotation mark. If anybody was paying very close attention, notice that the icon didn't appear. Now if I lock this and I go to change color, it won't let me do that either. So that lock icon being there, that's a symbol that to the user that you can't do anything to that line item. All right, so I showed you these things here inside a worksheet. Let's see what they look like in our report. So I'm going to go to, I have a specific report that I've already created, and it has these fields turned on. So this is the color field. I'm going to show you what these look like in the report edit view in just a moment. The color field is just a resizable field, and the things that you will see inside of reporting for the complete, flag, and lock, they're simply checkboxes. Crystal Reports, the engine that we use for reporting, can't support the little graphics that we use inside of Worksheet, so they become checkboxes. So let me show you what this looks like in the editor. So here we are. We're in 2020 Report Designer right here. And here's that color field that we had. And here are the different item management fields. So I'm going to resize these a little bit. And because they don't have any, they don't look obvious of what they are, we need to add some text fields to the report to explain what these things are. I'm just going to add a couple here so we can see. I'm going to save this. Go back to the worksheet and refresh this view. And you see there's a color field, and there's the tag for the field for flag. There's a tag for the field for complete. The checkboxes basically are yes, no. If it's checked, that means that the item is flagged. If it's checked, it's complete. And same thing for lock, if I had gone through and add that. And the annotation, it's just a text field that it shows here inside the report. Just remember, if you are creating a template and you're going to have annotations showing, remember that annotations can be as small or as large as you want. If you happen to be using annotations heavily, you're going to want to leave a lot of space for that. Okay, so that was me covering item management inside of Worksheet. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over showing reports within the report designer itself. So we have a design view and we have a report view. The design view is where we would arrange the fields, drag and drop and place and resize things. But we also have this report view at the bottom. In report view, in the past what it has been is it's just been a default placeholder that shows you a representation of what the report will show. We've made a change to report view so that you can now show either a default if you have one set, or you can open up any existing worksheet within here in the report view, or any of the open worksheets that you have open, currently have open in worksheet. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one here that we have open back in worksheet. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me what that report template that I have in the design view, what that would look like with this specific worksheet's information. So here's what this report template would look like with that worksheet's information. If I wanted to show a different worksheet's information, that's already open, I could go pick it, or I could point it out to any existing one. So what this helps you do is it helps you realize what the template that you're designing, how it's going to be using information for the worksheets that you normally work with, the type of information you have in a worksheet. Okay, so for example here, I have many different fields that are prepared by, prepared for, all at the top of the report template. Back in the report view, this particular worksheet that I'm using here, which is the one that I have called large worksheet, it has the information embedded into that worksheet. I have that set inside of the worksheet properties. But this other worksheet that I'm working with doesn't have all that information set. So it'll let you know how to size and space things based on the information. So there's different bits of information that each worksheet has, and templates may or may not look the same from one worksheet to the next. So let me change some things here. I'm going to go to change the page setup. I'm going to change these so that the margins are simply smaller. So when I do that, I'm going to need to move all of these fields over. Okay, so now I'm making these edits in the template, but how is that going to look once I actually apply information to it? It's hard to know that sometimes because these are simply placeholders and they don't always represent the proper lengths of the fields. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back to my report view and reapply. But this is what the report will look like with this particular set of information. So you can quickly see it rather than saving that report and then going back to worksheet, reapplying it, seeing that something's wrong, having to go back to your report designer making the changes. So there's lots of a ping pong back and forth between two different modules of the software. We can do it all here within the report designer itself, and the report view renders much quicker than actually applying the template within Worksheet itself. Right. The next thing we're going to be talking about is logos within reports. I'm going to go back to Worksheet here for a moment. And within preferences, I don't know how many people know that they can actually set a logo field associated with their user. Now, this has always been there for the header and footer when you're doing a WYSIWYG printing out of a worksheet or with cover page. But this field has not been available before as a placeholder within reporting, but it is now. I'm going to change this over to a little bit of a more rectangular shape. Now if I go back over to reporting, I'll show you where you can drag and drop that into your report. So on the screen right now, you'll see there's a 2020 image here. This is simply an image. This isn't a logo field. So I'm going to put into the report header the actual logo. So when you drag and drop the item over, what happens is this is a placeholder, and it comes over at the same size and shape as the image itself that you have set inside of Preferences. If I go to resize it, it's not going to let me resize it just in one dimension. It's going to keep it to the same aspect ratio. It's going to scale it up or down, but it's going to keep the aspect ratio of width to height the same so that the logo image doesn't get skewed accidentally. So now that I've saved this logo, or I've placed this in here, I'm going to save the report template. I'm going to come over to Report View. I'm just going to re-render this. Okay, so here I have the logo appearing inside of the report. Then I'm going to go back over to Worksheet, and I'm going to change the logo to a different image. So I'm going to change to this square shape image. If I come back over to reporting, what happens when I go to reapply that template, or reapply the association between the worksheet information and the template, is it's going to take the logo image that I have, and it looks skewed right now because the placeholder that I placed was a specific size and shape. So this looks wrong right now. If you change your logo from one image to another, what you need to do is you need to remove the logo field, and then you need to just re-drag and drop it in. If you drag and drop a logo that is larger than the section, it's going to give you a message that tells you that the section is too small. Because remember that the placeholder you're dropping in, it's the same size and shape as the image that you have set up for your logo. So a lot of times people will actually have a large image file that's like dimensionally large, that's like a 3x5 image. If you have that image set up in Preferences as your logo, you're going to have to resize the report header or whatever section you're dropping this into to be the proper size, and then just resize the image once it's in there, and then put that back to its proper size. So now that I've done that, I flip over and look at the information again, and you see the new logo. So the logo field is handy if you have corporate standards and you're all pointing out to one specific image file. Here at 2020, in the last handful of years, we've changed our color schemes. So if you have the same image but you just change it from one color to another, maybe it's something that you even do seasonally. You know, if the image there isn't so much your company logo, but it's a watermark or something like that, then you can, as long as the same size and shape is there, if you have it stored inside your template, it won't get skewed from one image to the next if it's the exact same size. Okay, so we've gone over all of the things we have to do in reporting. Now you're going to get a little preview of something that we have for the 2017 release. For the 2017 release, we've added some extra sections on the Help menu. The sections you'll see up on screen right now are 2020 and social media, training, and support. So on the support section, we have live chat and email us. Now if you click either one of these links, what's going to happen is it's going to pop up a browser. And for live chat, it pops up this WebEx window where you put your information in, and when you submit that, you've been into a queue where you can have a live chat with someone on support. You can also go to email us, and that flips you over to a form on the 2020 website where you can put your information in, and when you submit that, you'll get a call back. On the same page, you'll also see that you can also click on the right-hand side and you go over to the 2020 community. There might be a chance that the question that you have at a particular time or any given time is something that someone else in the community has already asked about. So the answer might already be there, either from someone here in 2020 commenting on the community page, or one of your fellow users answering the same question for another fellow user. Also, new addition off of the Help menu are 2020 training. You're going to click on that, and it's going to bring you over to the 2020 Spaces training webpage, where it shows you all of the available training opportunities, and you can order them right from this page. Also off of the training section is a training videos link, and when you click on that, what happens is it opens up another page of the 2020 website, but it puts you to a specific page that has videos related to the application that you're in. So we're in Worksheet here, and when I click on training videos, it's giving me videos that are related to Worksheet. If I were in Giza and I clicked on that same link, it would bring me to over to a page that showed me things that were Giza related. If I was in CAP, it would show me CAP related. So the link is specific to the application from which you launch it. As I mentioned, also part of the new section is 2020's presence within social media. Companies are using social media to communicate more and more with our customers. So if you click on this Facebook link, what's going to happen is it pops open a browser window, and it shoots you over to the 2020 Facebook page. Similarly for Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter, all of these will just shoot you over to the associated 2020 page. I would think that probably the most common that we'd use, and I think that it is underused by our users, is 2020's YouTube channel. Because out here, there's a lot of videos that we put out here, a lot of tutorials. We put recordings of webinars out here. These are things that I think actually have real value to people, and I think that the YouTube channel is something that if you're new to the software, or if there's a feature that you don't quite understand, check the YouTube page out, and there's a high likelihood that you will find something that will help you out or will be new information to you out on this channel. One last thing, all of those things that I showed you there on the Help menu, they are also available now in a Help toolbar. The Help toolbar is something that's new to the software, so it has all of the existing functionality that Help had before with the website, community, and the general Help section, but it also has new training, support, and social media buttons. So that's all that I have for you today. I'm going to turn the control of the presentation over to Cindy Maple, and she's going to give us a heads up on what's coming in 2017.
Hi everyone. Thanks Chad for presenting the features that hopefully everyone has an idea about now. Where I want to take you next is give you a little bit of a sneak preview of some of the things that are coming in our software, starting with 2017. One of the things that we are working on right now, and we have been working on, is kind of what I would call a big rock, which is we're now going to be offering the availability. Well, actually, this summer we're beginning a pilot on our new software key capability. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about software keys and to talk to you about where 2020 is kind of heading with some cloud capabilities. And we're very excited about this. We've got to spend a lot of time preparing. So the first question here is what is soft key? What is a software key? Basically the software key is different. Today we use a hardware key which which requires you to have a USB dongle plugged in to be able to use the software. With a software key, you should be able to use your 2020 community login to give you access to the software. So I'm going to take a few minutes and just give you an idea of how this is going to work. Let me tab over to 2020 CAP. So the way right now I don't have a hardware key plugged in. So when I launch CAP, what you're going to see is a dialog box is now going to come up and ask me to log in or to sign into my software. So I have a sign-in that I'm going to use today. But again, this would be your community sign-in. And what this is doing is then going out to the server and telling me that yes, I am entitled to use my CAP software. So I'm going to wait just a second here. We're working on a test environment right now, but so this is going to take a second. But it's going to allow me to sign into CAP and to use CAP. One of the things that we wanted to make sure with the software key is that it really didn't get in the way of the user. So some of our customers, for example, when you purchase CAP today, you get the drawing package of CAP, you get Worksheet, and you get Visual Impression all with that. So we didn't want you to have to sign in every time you launched a different application. So I'm going to show you now from CAP Designer. I'm going to do a takeoff and create a worksheet. And this will just take me a second. And you'll see that now that I've logged into CAP and I'm entitled to use all of the different 2020 software applications, that I launch Worksheet and I was not asked to sign in again. I will call your attention to this new menu that we have in all of our applications. The cloud menu now displays who you're signed in as and the email address that you're signed in with. So I'm going to leave that for right now. And I'm going to take us into visual impression. So in visual impression, I'm going to select a new a scene to visualize. And now it's going to load visual impression. And you'll see again that I won't be prompted to sign in again. The software knows all of the applications, Office applications that you're entitled to use. Okay. The interface in visual impression is a bit different. So I want to show you where to find the cloud menu here. And the cloud menu is off of the Sparkler menu now. And again, it also displays who is signed in. And under the tooltip tells you the email address from that person as well. Okay. One of the other things that we wanted to do is we didn't want the sign in to again get in your way. So I can very easily close all of these applications and remain signed in. So this is a new worksheet sample, so it's prompting me to save. And when I get back to CAP Designer here, I'm essentially still logged into everything. So if I now want to launch Worksheet again, I'm launching it on its own, and it still understands that I'm entitled to use it. So it brings me to a worksheet here. It still shows me as signed in. Okay. Now, if I choose to sign out of an application, I go to the cloud menu and I click Sign Out. For those of you that work at home, this is going to be important to know. Once you move to once you move to a software key, you no longer have to carry the dongle around. But one thing you will have to remember is you can only be signed into the Office applications on one machine at a time. So you're going to want to remember to sign out. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to sign out. And basically what it does is it knows that our products work as a suite. So it's going to say, you're signing out of Worksheet. Are you sure you want to sign out of everything else? Because it's going to prompt you to do that. So I'm going to say, okay. Yep, I'm going to sign out of Worksheet. I want to do that. So it's going to close Worksheet. And because I'm also still signed in, it's going to prompt me to save. But also because I still have CAP open, it's also going to prompt me. It says, your current user signed out from Worksheet, so you need to sign out of CAP as well. So when I exit, then I'm completely signed out. And you'll notice that in CAP, you don't see the sign out bar anymore, and you won't see the cloud menu. The first question that comes to mind is what happens for me today? And today, basically the framework of this capability is in the 2017 release. And we wanted to start showing people how this was going to work. However, it's not going to be readily available to all of our customers immediately. We will be beginning a pilot later this summer, and we've hand-selected a few pilot users to work with us on transitioning between the hardware devices and the software keys. But I did want to let you know that this was coming. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint now and talk a little bit about my 2020 cloud account. Those that have registered for the community are a little bit ahead of the game because they have a profile on 2020 cloud. This is what you're seeing in front of you now is kind of a new, I call this the portal to the 2020 cloud capabilities. So from this portal, I can see my user profile, which allows me to identify myself, see what software I'm allowed to use. Basically all of my user information can be stored in here. My products and services, when I click on this, that will display all the products and services that are assigned to me, meaning that those are the things that I'm entitled to use. This also shows me my software key. If I'm an admin user, an IT user at a dealership, this also allows me to manage my users. So let's say I have, well here I've got 6 different licenses, and I show who is assigned to each one of those licenses. So for those of you that have multiple licenses in your dealership and you're doing a lot of inventory, this is going to make it a lot easier for you to do this. And it's also going to make it a lot easier when employees change or people start using different pieces of software. It's easy to change in here. I can click here to add new, to assign licenses to new users. This is putting a lot of the license management in front of your IT people and your administrators, which is going to make it a lot easier for them. In the future, you'll be able to do some downloads from here. Right now, today, this is connected to 2020.net. And then obviously you'll be able to access the community from here. So this is kind of a new concept, but it's also something that's been frequently requested of us, and we've begun working on it. So I just wanted to outline some questions that we expect to come up and some answers. So the first question is, when can I begin using software keys? Although we've done a lot of work on software keys, later this summer we're just starting a pilot with a few select large customers. And like I said earlier, there's going to be a team of people to help them make the transition from hardware keys to software keys. We also want to learn from that experience because we want to further automate the process before offering this to all of our customers. So our goal today is really to give you a sneak peek, to let you know it's coming, and to show you how the software key will work. What I showed you today is actually working software. You won't see this yet. You will still be working off of your hardware key. But as I said, the framework is being delivered in 2017. The second question is, can I participate in the pilot? Due to the nature of this pilot, we only have a small number of hand-picked pilot participants that are required, and all those positions are currently full. We would like to know, though, if you'd like to be considered as an early adopter. So when the software keys are through the pilot and our further automation is done, if you'd like to be some of the first to adopt it, we'd like to recognize that. So please notify someone at 2020 that you would like to be part of that. One of the other questions is, can I work offline with SoftKey? Basically, you need an internet connection when you first begin working in the 2020 Office products. But once the user signed in, all the products will work offline for up to 7 consecutive days without having internet connectivity. So if you're going on a vacation in the woods for 7 days, you'll be perfectly fine. When you're online, there's a background activity that basically goes unbeknownst to the user and basically resets that 7 days every day and a half. So it's only in the condition that you're offline for a large number of days that will a further sign-in be required. What if I take work home at night, or I work on a different computer? Users can run the Office products from any computer using their software key credentials. You no longer have to remember to take a hardware key with you when you want to work in the evening or at your client's location, or if you're going on vacation. The only thing that you do have to remember is you can only be logged in on one computer at a time, so you'd have to sign out before you sign in on a different computer. So we think this is going to make things a lot easier. Do I have to move to a software key? Let's say you're really happy with your hardware key. Users can continue to use their hardware keys or switch to software keys, whichever is more convenient for them. There's not going to be, that we see, there's not going to be a big push, at least initially, to do that. But you can work with whatever is most convenient for you. Will there be a cost to switch from software keys when they're available? So customers who want to switch to software keys will be able to do so on request at no additional cost once they're completely available to everyone. Can I keep my hardware key and have a software key? essentially all the Office products on an existing hardware key have to be transferred at the same time. So hardware keys and software keys, they don't work together. For a user will have to be either on a hardware key or a software key. One of the other questions that comes up is, what do I do to prepare if I want to be able to use a software key? The biggest thing today is to join the community, build your profile, register for the community, get your email address and your profile together, and that'll be really helpful when the time comes. Thank you for your time today. Thanks to Chad for doing his part of the presentation. Take care.